Hi everybody, welcome to or back to my channel. Today we're going to be starting up my fall garden, and I'm going to show you a trick that I learned from MI Gardener right here on this platform that is going to help us increase the germination rate of seeds that you plant directly into the ground. So the things that I directly sow into the ground are your root veggies, so things like carrots, beets, radishes, turnips, things like that. I will also always directly sow things like beans and peas. And the third thing that I always directly sow are my greens. So mustard greens, arugula, spinach, mesclun, anything like that. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about seeds and plants very quickly before we get into this. So seeds need moisture in order to start the germination process, okay? And once that germination process starts, the plant will slowly develop its roots, and then it will eventually take root, and the plant at that point will be able to take water and absorb nutrients on its own. Now the problem is in the summertime is that it's really, really hot and that your top layers of soil can dry out a lot more quickly than they can in either the springtime when the weather's a little bit cooler, or in a controlled environment like a greenhouse, or inside your own home when you're starting seeds in the winter or in early spring. And so if at any point your seed starts to germinate and it has not taken root, meaning that it cannot absorb water on its own, at any point in that time frame, if it dries out, it will die 100% of the time. And that's the reason that a lot of people's seeds fail when they direct sow them into the ground. I think a lot of times people make this mistake and they think, oh, the seeds must be old, or the seeds must be bad, or I just can't garden. I don't have the talent to garden or whatever, and the case is really, honestly, all that happened was that your seeds dried out before they were able to take water up on their own. And there's a really super simple trick that is going to help you with this, and you've probably got tons of it lying around your house, and that is cardboard. Okay, ordinary cardboard. And you can see that this one is wet because I've already used this to germinate up some bean seeds. So what we're going to be planting today is we're going to be planting 3 different types of beets and some carrots. We're going to be putting them in the bed over where my garlic was. And yeah, it's about mid-July, maybe like the 3rd week of July, and these should be ready in time for about a late September, early to mid-October harvest, so perfectly in time for fall. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about how I do this process. So it's been raining for the past 2 days in Chicago, so my soil is already really, really deeply saturated. I always like to kind of try to wait to do this after a rainstorm if I can, but if it hasn't recently rained in your area, or if you live in a drier climate, you're going to want to really deeply saturate your soil. So there are 2 reasons that you want to deeply water, okay? So the first reason is if your soil is dry and you plant your seeds and then you go water on top of it, they could have a tendency to shift around. The second reason that you want to super saturate your soil is basically you're going to be putting this cardboard on top, and you're going to be trapping the moisture in between the cardboard and the bottom of your garden bed, okay? So that that your seeds don't dry out while they're going through this germination process. And then what I do is I'll go in there and I'll just kind of loosen up the soil a little bit with a shovel, especially if I'm planting root veggies. They don't like tightly compacted soil, so you just kind of want to loosen things up. You want to aerate it a little bit. And then I will use my shovel to draw out my rows so that I know where my seeds are going to go. And then when I'm planting root veggies, I just go in and I sprinkle them across. I don't really worry about if they're too close or too far apart or anything like that, especially because you're going to be thinning your seedlings once they germinate. If you haven't seen my video on thinning seedlings, I'll go ahead and link that in the description box down below and in the cards above. But you're going to be doing that regardless, so I don't really worry about it, especially with carrot seeds. They're so small and so hard to see. It's not worth it in my opinion. And then I just use my hands to cover up those rows, and then I very, very lightly pack the soil on top, just kind of to keep the seeds in their place so that they're not rolling around too much. And I give it a real quick water to moisten them up, cover it with cardboard, and that's it. They'll stay moist and they will germinate pretty quickly. I always find that they germinate faster too when I do this for some reason, and I don't know if that's just because it's summer and it's warmer, maybe the conditions are better, but I always find that they germinate really, really quickly. So if it says like 7 to 10 days, you want to kind of start checking it after maybe half that time, just to make sure that they aren't trying to grow and you're pushing them down with a piece of cardboard. Well, thank you so much for watching. I hope you found this tip helpful, and that's it. It's a really super simple tip that will help increase your germination rates in hot weather or in summer. Don't forget to like, subscribe, forward this on to a gardener in your life, and I'll see you soon for another video. Bye.